happy with that. A lot of them.
The story begins with a hitman named John Knox. He is one of the most dangerous hitmen in the business. He sits in a diner to meet his friend, Thomas. When these two start talking, John tells Thomas that he has started forgetting everything. His condition is getting worse every day, and he is even forgetting things he needs for his daily life, which is causing him trouble at work. After hearing this, Thomas says that he is a killer and that this condition could prove to be very dangerous, so he should see a doctor as soon as possible. John brushes off the suggestion at first, but after thinking about it, he realizes he really should see a doctor. The next day, he goes for a checkup. The doctor tells him that he has dementia and that in this disease, he will slowly start forgetting everything. John asks what the cure is, but the doctor says that there is no cure for his case and he has very little time left. He explains that his memories are slowly going to disappear. The doctor suggests that he should spend time with his family so they can take care of him and he can enjoy his last moments, because soon he will forget them too. After hearing about his family, John gets disappointed because his whole family left him a long time ago. John now lives alone. He starts thinking about how he has to spend the remaining time very comfortably so he doesn't face any problems. He is a hitman, and it is his job to kill people. If his mental condition deteriorates, he could kill anyone, which is the worst possible outcome. Time starts to pass. The first week begins as his memory starts to fade. We see John with a girl named Annie. They are in a relationship and like each other. Annie always asks John about his family and his work. John tells her that his family left him a long time ago. Annie asks why, and he tells her it was because they found out he is a hitman who kills people for money, and they didn't like that. Before he can finish, his phone rings. He finds out that Thomas has taken a new contract, meaning he has to go kill someone. John reaches the address given by Thomas. His target lives in the house in front of them. As they move forward, John tells Thomas that his condition is getting worse and that maybe this will be his last job. After this, he isn't going to kill anyone else. Thomas starts thinking about it and doesn't like this at all. John goes to the man's house, but after going inside, he realizes his condition is worsening. He starts hallucinating and reaches the bathroom. He sees that his target is bathing with his girlfriend. He shoots, but by mistake, the bullet hits the girl. Then he kills the boy. After seeing this, John is attacked again by the realization that he killed an innocent girl who had no fault. Then the door opens. John shudders and shoots, only to realize that he has killed Thomas by mistake. He didn't want to kill him, it was just a terrible accident. Now, John doesn't understand what to do. His condition is getting worse, and he killed 2 innocent people today, in addition to his target. His boss, Jericho, calls him and asks what happened. John starts making up a story. Thomas and I came inside the house. That man found out that we were hitmen, and he shot Thomas. After seeing that, I killed his girlfriend along with him, but Thomas is dead. His boss believes him because John has been working for him for a long time, has never made a mistake, and has never lied. After hanging up the phone, John starts his work. He begins setting up the crime scene so that if the police come, they will believe that Thomas killed the couple and then someone else killed Thomas. He places a gun in Thomas's hand and leaves. The next day, 2 detectives arrive, Rael and Emily. After seeing everything, it looks as though the people involved killed each other. Rael is about to close the case, but Emily says that something is wrong. There were not 3, but 4 people here. First, a man came inside who killed these 2. After that, he killed the 3rd man. She explains that if the people had simply killed each other, the shower would still be running, but the shower is turned off. That means there was someone else there who, after killing everyone, staged the crime scene. On the other hand, we see John, who reaches an accountant and gives him the names of 3 people. He tells him that all the money he has earned needs to be given to these 3 people in legal funds. The accountant agrees. Now, John is trying to collect as much money as possible. He reaches his storeroom, brings out some paintings, and hides them in his house. These paintings are worth millions of dollars. While he is at home that night, a man knocks on the door. John does not recognize him and stares at him blankly. This man is injured and very upset. After a while, John asks him, "Who are you?" The man replies, "What happened to you?" "I am your son, Miles." Then John remembers, yes, this is his son. John also realizes that his disease has progressed significantly. He brings Miles home and asks him what happened. Miles starts crying and says, "My daughter is 20 years old, and I love her very much. Recently, I found out she is pregnant. When I tried to find out more, I discovered she had an affair with a man named Anthony, who is 32 years old. He misled my daughter and got her pregnant. I went to his house to talk to him, but a fight started, and I killed Anthony in anger. I don't understand what to do. If I go to jail, my whole family will be ruined. I have never asked you for anything, but this time I am asking you to get me out of this." John thinks for a while and tells him to take off all his clothes. He gives him a drink, which now has Miles's fingerprints on it. John tells him, "Now you go home. I will handle everything else." He takes the knife that Miles used to kill Anthony and keeps it with him. He warns Miles, "No matter what happens, you won't tell anyone about this." But as soon as Miles reaches home, he tells everything to his wife, Cheryl. On the other hand, John is busy. He reaches Anthony's house first and takes samples of his blood and hair. He now has all the evidence he needs. He leaves and goes to the surveillance room, knocking the guard unconscious. He starts deleting the CCTV footage one by one, but then he suffers another attack. During the episode, he fails to delete the footage of Miles. He only manages to delete his own. He returns home. Instead of burning the evidence he has against Miles, he hides it all in one place. It is unclear why John is doing this. He starts writing everything down in a diary before he forgets the details. Meanwhile, detectives Emily and Ray are still working the case. Emily is trying to connect the dots and investigates everyone Thomas was seen with. Eventually, she learns about John. When they dig into his background, they discover that John spent 6 years in prison for tax evasion, though no one knows who originally framed him. Using her intuition, Emily realizes that John is a hitman. She suspects he may have received a contract to kill these men and that he shot Thomas because he blamed him for sending him to jail years ago. Now, Emily is determined to confirm her theory. On the other hand, John visits his old companion, Xavier. He gives him the paper where he has written down all the evidence and explains that his son killed someone by mistake and needs to be saved. Xavier asks why he is handing over this information, and John admits he has dementia and could forget everything at any moment. He needs Xavier to take care of things and save Miles. Xavier agrees to help. Meanwhile, Emily and Ray investigate Anthony's murder. When Emily sees the body, she notes that the killer was driven by extreme anger, likely seeking revenge. It turns out Anthony was a monster who forced girls into exploitation, filmed them, and sold the footage. She suspects one of his victims might have killed him. They search the house and find that nothing has been stolen, only the knife is missing. They now have to find that weapon. Back at his house, John has Miles's shirt and the blood sample he took from Anthony. He begins spilling the blood onto Miles's shirt, which already has some of Anthony's blood on it. He then presses a fingerprint onto a glass and breaks it. After seeing all this, it appears that John is conspiring to trap Miles. He is deliberately setting up evidence everywhere to ensure all the clues point directly back to his son. On the other hand, as soon as Emily comes out of the house, she meets the guard. The guard tells her, "Someone made me unconscious last night. As soon as I woke up, I realized someone had deleted the CCTV footage." At night, John meets Miles and says, "The police can come to you any time. If they inquire about that night, tell them you were at my house and that you got hurt while we were drinking. Don't say anything else, and leave with your family tomorrow." Miles agrees to all his conditions and leaves with his family. As soon as John sees that he has left, he enters the house and spreads evidence all over. He even has Anthony's hair, which he plants on Miles's clothes. It becomes clear that John is conspiring to trap his own son. All the evidence is pointing against him, and the case is becoming increasingly complicated. Meanwhile, Emily is still working on the case. She has all the reports in front of her, including the autopsy results of the 2 people who died with Thomas. After seeing the report, she discovers that all 3 were killed with the same gun. This confirms Emily's suspicion. There was a 4th person present who killed all 3 of them. She starts investigating where John was when this murder happened and discovers he was in the city. Now, he is the prime suspect. Emily wants to interrogate John, but he is very clever. He has an answer for every question Emily asks, and she cannot trap him in his own words. John eventually leaves. As soon as he leaves, he reaches his wife, Ruby. He tells her the whole story. He has very little time left, and soon he will forget everything, even that Ruby was his wife. Ruby is deeply disappointed to hear this. John stays with her for a while and then heads to Miles's warehouse. There, we find out he had hidden diamonds inside. He takes the diamonds and leaves. On the other hand, Emily talks to Ray and asks about the Anthony case. He says he found someone else's DNA in the house, but the lab report isn't back yet. They look over the rest of the findings and confirm that Anthony was a monster who filmed little girls and sold the footage. As they watch the videos of his crimes, they spot a girl named Kyle, who is Miles's daughter. In the CCTV footage, they also spot Miles, which makes Emily suspicious that Miles killed Anthony. They immediately call him for interrogation. When Emily questions him, she finds out that Miles is John's son. Miles denies everything and claims he doesn't even know Anthony. However, Emily receives a warrant to search his house. As soon as she searches the property, she finds a mountain of evidence against Miles. She finds the knife used to kill Anthony, the bloody shirt, and hair samples. Every piece of evidence points directly to him. Consequently, Emily arrests Miles for murder. On the other hand, we see John meeting Xavier. He hands over all the diamonds and says, "After selling these, give the money to Phil. He has a list with the names of 3 people. Once I'm gone, all that money must go to them." As soon as he enters his house, he sees that a group of armed thugs has broken in. To his shock, Annie is with them. She has led them there, and they demand, "We know you had an expensive painting that you sold for a fortune. We want all that money." John is stunned. He can't believe Annie would betray him for money. He begins taking them out one by one, killing every single one of them. Once the room is clear, he puts his gun on Annie and says, "I gave the names of 3 people to my friend, that if anything happened to me, my money should be divided between them. Those 3 were my son, my wife, and you. You were going to receive a lot of money, but you showed your true colors. Now, you won't get a penny. I am removing your name from that list." The next day, Xavier reaches Phil and removes Annie's name from the list as instructed. Meanwhile, Emily and Ray reach the forensic department. The technician tells them that all the evidence against Miles was planted. Someone conspired to frame him, and it's likely he didn't kill Anthony. We then see John reach the jail and confront Miles. He shouts, "I was in jail for 6 years for tax evasion, and I know you were the one who complained to the police. That is why I planted all the evidence against you, so you would go to jail." He screams this for everyone to hear, despite Miles insisting that he never framed his father. John leaves and heads home, calling Xavier to tell him to contact the police and report that there are corpses at his house that he personally killed. Xavier immediately calls Emily, and she arrives to arrest John. While searching the home, she finds a broken glass with Miles's fingerprints on it, leaving her confused. As John is taken into custody, he confesses, "I killed Anthony." He explains the entire story. "My son sent me to jail for 6 years because I wasn't a good father. Ever since then, I wanted revenge. I found out about my granddaughter's situation. Even though I couldn't be a good father, I wanted to be a good grandfather. So, I killed Anthony and used it as the perfect opportunity to frame Miles so my revenge would be complete." This confession is enough for Emily to order Miles's release. As they let him go, they ask, "Tell us, where were you that night?" Miles repeats exactly what John told him to say. "I was drinking at my father's house, which is when I got hurt." This triggers a realization for Emily. She remembers the broken glass in John's house with Miles's fingerprints. She finally understands the whole story. John orchestrated everything to frame his own son. Miles is released, and John is sent to jail. After a while, Miles and Ruby receive a check. All the money John had earned in his life has been split into 2 parts and sent to them. Then we see Annie, who receives a parcel at her home containing only books, John's personal collection. John wanted her to realize that if she hadn't shown such greed, she would have received a share, too. Miles visits his father in jail, and that is when the truth of the master plan is finally revealed. The day Miles first came to John, John understood immediately that his son wouldn't survive the situation. He had murdered Anthony, and all the evidence was stacked against him. If not today, the police would eventually catch him, no matter what John tried to do. So, John began his master plan. He staged everything to make it look like he had conspired to frame Miles, knowing that in the end, he would take the fall and go to jail himself. He knew that by confessing to the crimes and framing his son, he would force the police to clear Miles's name to make their own case against John stick. John knew he didn't have much time left to live, and he wanted to do one last thing for his family. He succeeded with all his heart. Even while battling dementia, he executed a level of planning that no common man could ever achieve. Miles now understands the scale of the sacrifice his father made. He has come to thank him for protecting the family, even though it meant spending his final, fading days behind bars. After Miles leaves, Emily arrives to try one last time. She asks John, "Did you kill Thomas?" But John has forgotten everything. He doesn't remember the crime, the trial, or the plan. In his mind, Thomas is still alive and well. John sacrificed his freedom, his reputation, and his remaining memories to buy his son a second chance at life. That is the true cost of the craft. If you enjoyed this emotional thriller, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more elite recaps.